because he had this crack of a ball from a 21-yard away that was frightening, really. And he prided himself in being that good. But it's so long ago now that he's nearly forgotten. I was talking recently to one of the Birr senior hurlers, and we were looking at photographs, and he said, "Is that the Boo?" And I was surprised. Of course it is the Boo. Now, when I thought back, this lad was in Borden when the Boo died in 1983. Boo died in March 1983. He died training with the Offaly senior hurlers in Tullamore. He had, in fact, as it found out later, I think, a rheumatic fever condition, and he shouldn't have been training at all, but he was so keen to prove himself that he went down training that day.
Yeah. Aidan Rosny was a star. We were actually in the same year. We came in to school together. We're in first year together, right through to Leaving Cert. He was a character. We had heard about him. I'd heard about him in community games. I'd heard about him playing Fela with Birr. And I said, this fella, you know, can't be as actually good as people are making out. I ended up playing with him right through the schools. Juvenile. All these matches, John, were huge. You know, every game you played with Birr was a huge game. Every juvenile game I played, Rathdowney, Birr and Osprey, a tie, which became our second home. Huge games. You didn't sleep the night before. And I remember every puck of a ball. But Aidan Rosny, my father, God rest him, you know, obviously, you know, he had a huge interest in hurling. He refereed Offaly County finals. You know, he was chairman of the Tipperary County Board. He was involved in Tipperary. But he says, Ken, you never saw Jimmy Doyle hurling. And I said, no, Dad, I didn't. This man is the new Jimmy Doyle, he says. Aidan Rosny, he says, he's cut out of Jimmy Doyle. And he gave fantastic displays for us. Out of nowhere, he'd pull it out of the sky. He'd a magnificent left hand to sweep it over the bar. He was underhand hurler, and plus the fact, free taking, you know. He was the mecca of free takers. Unbelievable. And obviously a rogue in his own right as well. You know, a rogue in his own right. We all know the stories about him. But hurling came number one for him. And I remember, you know, in 1982, 83, he was coming into the scene with obviously Offaly. And I was saying to myself, I'd say to the tip lads, if this Aidan Rosny hits the scene in Offaly, they're going to be at the top again. Offaly obviously had won an All-Ireland in 81, and he was coming through. And I have no doubt that he would have played in the 85. You know, Joe Dooley played as a 21, 22-year-old in 85, but I have no doubt Aidan Rosny would have played as well. And in actual fact, Joe will be the first to admit, we were only trotting after Aidan Rosny as hurlers, because he just had that extra touch. He had that unbelievable, you know, touch that would take him through and put it over the bar in the blink of an eyelid. And I think, you know, the Dermot Healy's of this world, the people who were involved with Offaly at the time, the leaders they had like Pat Fleury and Pádraig Horn would definitely have brought, you know, given him that extra little bit of maturity and pulled him through. And it was, you know, one of the biggest shocks of my life when I got the news. I was based in Dublin at the time. When I got the news, you know, that Boo had passed on, you know, it was a huge tragedy, both for Birr hurling and for Offaly hurling.
My first impression, well, a few impressions of him. He was absolutely fantastic at both hurling and football. He represented Offaly at all levels at the time, underage. He was on the under-14 team. Actually, at the time, even the Tara gang used to come over and collect him to make sure he'd go to the under-14. Yeah, he was absolutely. Real memory one day in an under 21 match out in Rath. We were 10 points down, and things weren't going so very well. And he roars out himself to the line, and as he often did, and he was a character, a real out-and-out character. Will you put me in there for a few minutes? And right enough, Peter O'Mara, myself, Mick Hogan, who else there was, we were kind of over him, and he put the Boo in, and the Boo buried 4 balls in the back of the net in 6 minutes, and he was plastered from head to toe in belts that he received, but he won the match for Birr.
And so, in the more than 100 years of its history, Birr GAA Club has reflected the best endeavour and spirit of its community. We hope that this visual history will go some way to acknowledging the great contribution it has made to the sporting and social fabric of the town over these years. When we look back at its existence through lean times and good times, days of glory and days of disappointment, we cannot fail to acknowledge the selfless spirit of volunteerism and selflessness shown by so many in Birr GAA Club. As long as this spirit remains, then the future of our club will be not only bright, but its sporting legacy will be secured and filled with the promise of many glorious days to come.
Come gather round, ye boys and girls, and listen to me a while. The facts I'll try to tell you are surely worth your while. It happened on a stormy day in 1948, when over in O'Connor Park, Coolderry met their fate. The national anthem sounded and the players took their stand, and from the throwing of the ball, Birr took the upper hand. Just a second from the opening, Des Dooley had a score, and this urged on the boys from Birr to go in search of more. 2 points from Billy Nevin of club and county fame, 2 goals by Wicks and Pardy, who had shone throughout the game. Just before half-time, Birr slackened to let Coolderry score. A fluky goal, a lucky point, but they could get no more. Pat Grogan, Kennedy, Carroll and King, our last lines did defend, and Linden and young Willie Joe a hand to them did lend. With these 2 stalwarts in the front, Birr couldn't ask for more, as they turned their faces to the breeze and played as ne'er before. The second half then started, twice Marty shot and pointed. Our centre-back was then sent off, which left our team disjointed. With Seamus Purcell on the line, Birr's team's hope were not shattered, for they played the game and played to win, and that was all that mattered. The final whistle sounded, alas the game was over, and every Birr man on the pitch gave vent to one great row. Triumph for our champions, 3 cheers for them we called, for this great team of hurlers who brought Coolderry's fall.